We're back. So, welcome back everyone, and as you can see, I'm in my 911. What the hell's happened? That's crazy to say, and firstly, I just need to thank the people that are in my life that have helped me get to this point, because without you guys I wouldn't have got here, so thanks. And yeah, this is my first video back as a, well, car owner, to be honest. So let's just rewind the clock back to August last year, where I sold the other half. Reason being, I've said in a previous video before, but it was just down to, it wasn't really my cup of tea, and yeah, I just weren't suited to the car. So got rid of that, and because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, I thought, do you know what, let's just not buy a car for a while. I'm lucky enough that my mum was kind enough to lend me her Fiesta to bat around in for the winter months and into the spring, so that allowed me to save up some money, and here we are in my 997 Carrera S. It's nuts. Like, I would never have thought this was possible. So just a story about 911s and me. I've always loved this specific generation of 911. It's always been my favourite one, and I've always wanted one. It's been my dream affordable car for as long as I can remember. Ever since they came out, basically. Ever since I saw that Top Gear review, Jeremy Clarkson sliding around the yellow one, very mistakes, yeah, it for a 996, which pains me because there's a lot of differences. But ever since I saw that, I wanted one of these cars, and I've always wanted one, and I've always thought that these are the best 911s ever. Fast forward to this year, and I was looking at Caymans, if I'm honest, because I didn't think a 911 would be in my budget. And I was looking at Cayman S's, the 2.7 and the 3.4, like standard Cayman, standard Cayman and Cayman S, and I like them, I love them, like they're cool cars, and I would have one, but I was just not getting too excited about the prospects of owning one. I knew whatever my next car was going to be, it was probably going to be a Porsche, and to me, if a worst case scenario is a Cayman, I think it's pretty good. So what happened was, I was looking at Caymans, and then all of a sudden I see this beauty come up for advertisement, or come up advertised on Auto Trader, and basically as a result I went to go look at it. I phoned around a couple of specialists because it has had an extensive life, which I'll go more onto more about in a moment. Basically, this car came up, admittedly just out of my budget, but I could pull a few strings, save a few more pennies, work a little bit harder, and bada boom, bada bing, I'll put a deposit down. After test driving it and after speaking to a Porsche specialist, just to kind of gear me up to buy it, kind of egg me on a little bit, and by no means am I going to hold them responsible for me buying it at all. It's my decision, but I did ring around and got some opinions, and now this is booked in at that very same Porsche specialist for in a couple of weeks' time, just to get a post-purchase inspection done. Now, why did this car come up in my budget? So I'll show some B-roll while I'm talking now, and I'll just run you through all the points that I've noticed that why this car was in my budget. So we've got a couple of issues here on the door handle. It's just scuffed a little bit. The buttons, which fair play to the garage that bought them off, because they did actually change them, but the buttons weren't in good nick, but they're all good now, they're sorted. Spec wise, it's not got the Sport Chrono, it's just Bogo Carrera S, no real options. It's got Bose as an option, nothing really else to comment on inside. The handbrake is not the most inspiring thing. I wouldn't really want to park this car on a hill for a long period of time, but again, we'll get Zuff House to address that. They're the Porsche specialist that I'm taking it to, by the way. Zuff House, sorry. And yeah, but other than that, interior wise, I'm really happy with it. It's a really nice place to be. It smells lovely of old leather, and I think it's worn really well. It's got some little marks and scuffs, but it's in line with the age. It's a 20-year-old car, so I'm happy with it. Now, what else is making this car fall within my budget? Exterior, paintwork. Previous owner, fair play to you, mate, because you've really looked after the car, I can see that, and you've spent a lot of money on making sure it's mechanically bob on. But bonnet and the front bumper are an absolute state of stone chips. It is stone chip city down there. The headlights need a refurb. There's the little trim inside the centre of the bumper, and that's loose, so it's probably wobbling around right now in the air. And as well, just in general, the paintwork outside is not in good condition. It needs a lot of attention. I think it's probably at the point where a respray is justifiable at some point, but we'll see, because I don't have the budget for a respray right now. But I really wanted a usable example of a 911. It didn't really matter to me too much on the cosmetic side of things, how the car was, because I'm going to use it. It's going to be my daily. I'm daily driving a 911. Nuts. So, for me to buy a showroom, really good, beautiful example is probably a bit of a waste on me, because I'm going to tat it up. So I'd rather buy one that's already a little bit tatty and make it better in my ownership than the other way around. So all in all, that is why this car was in my budget. Now, the other reason why this car was in my budget is because it was daily driven for the past 20 years. What does that mean? Guess how many miles on it? Put it in the comments, guess how many. I've had some guesses that are around 70k, 60k, 50k, some as low as 45, surprisingly, which, what kind of cars are you buying with 45k miles on there, paintwork like this? You need to check yourself. This car has 150,000 miles on the clock. Yep, it's a high mileage hero. I think Alex Kirsten of Auto Alex would be proud. I did miss out on going to Shedfest, but that kind of sounds like it was a good thing, because it kind of sounds like it was a disaster. But this would have fit right in at Shedfest. Oh, and we got an acceleration. Let's go. So, that is why the car is in my budget. 150k miles, bit of tatty paintwork. But do you know what? It's never failed an MOT. It's had some advisories, obviously, but haven't we all? Never failed an MOT. It's had impeccable service history, and it's even had a Hardtech engine rebuild about midway through its mileage, so call it 60-70k miles ago. Now, that is a huge selling point to me, because that tells me that the previous owner really cared for it and justified spending the money on getting that engine rebuilt. And it was the dreaded ball score that caused that. So it's had the remedial work, it's got a low temp thermostat, it's got a few other bits, and I'm really happy. So far, nothing has gone terribly wrong. I think the car is working well, as it should, and I'm happy with it. I think there's nothing crazy to report. So what take it to Suffolk House, see what they say. They might say otherwise and tell me you bought an absolute lemon. But until then, I'm just going to enjoy it. So, yeah. I'll film another couple videos just kind of driving it and stuff like that. But for now, I thought I'd give you just a rundown of the car and show you some shots from the exterior, which I've hopefully inserted throughout this video. But yeah, I'm back in a fun car, which is great. I'm really excited, looking forward to the summer. Hopefully it keeps honest and treats me well, and I will treat it well back. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.